What's up, everyone? My name is Blue, and we are back with some more malicious compliance posts, following the rules to the letter to make your life better. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. And with that, let's get into it. Classmate is mad I'm forcing her to eat ethnic food. Go eat a loaf of bread. This happened about a year ago now when I was in high school. My calculus class was very chill. About 20 kids who were all friendly with each other, a laid-back but enthusiastic teacher, and a light enough workload that we could afford to goof off in class but still learn and do well. At some point in the year, I got really into cooking. It's my stress reliever. My family couldn't possibly eat the amount of food I was making, so I started bringing it into school and hosting Friday parties in my calc class, with my teacher's approval, of course. Now, I'm Vietnamese, and I live in a predominantly white town. This is only important because it meant that most kids from town only ate American or European foods, and weren't used to eating other ethnic foods. Last year, around Lunar New Year, I wanted to bring in some Vietnamese foods to celebrate. It is a very important time of year for my family. I ended up making a bunch of bánh lon, a steamed layer cake and a traditional Vietnamese dessert. Some of my friends from class found out I was going to bring in a traditional dish and brought in their own traditional dishes from their own cultures, whether they celebrated Lunar New Year or not. We had different Indian, Korean, Filipino, and Spanish desserts. It was great, and I was really excited that my friends wanted to celebrate with me. Apparently, this was an issue for one girl in my class. I would say bánh lon is an acquired taste. So when not a lot of people ate it, I wasn't offended. I knew not everybody would like it. There was a lot of other food anyways. During our lunch period, one of my friends, who wasn't in our class but knew I brought food in, overheard a girl from my class complaining about the food while on the lunch line. Apparently, she was saying really negative things about how I forced everyone to eat weird Chinese foods. Later that day, I texted her just saying I heard she didn't like the food and wanted to know why. I don't really care when people don't like the food. I make it for myself and bring it in when I have extra anyways. But her calling it weird Chinese foods when she knows I'm Vietnamese didn't sit right with me. Well, she texted back that it was rude of me to bring in weird ethnic foods that nobody would have liked except for me, and said I should know better since most of the class was white. I told her that I bring in food to share because I feel like it, and that I don't have an obligation to cater to her tastes. If she has an issue with it, she literally does not have to eat it. And other people can bring in food too, so if she wanted to, she could bring in something more to her tastes. After that, she just told me that I shouldn't bring in ethnic and foreign foods and stick with American foods, because we're in America. Excuse me? Like, how much you want to bet if I brought in jambalaya, which originated in Louisiana, she would call it a weird foreign food? Fine. She only wants to eat American foods? Then she can eat American foods. The next week, I brought in a bunch of oliebollen, a Dutch donut, and started passing them out at the beginning of class. When I got to her desk, I pulled out a loaf of Wonder Bread and plopped it on her desk, saying, "Sorry, but these are Dutch. Too ethnic. Here you go. All American cuisine." Later, she texted me asking what the F my problem was. So I told her that almost every single food I brought in this year was ethnic, and that it pissed me off she only had an issue when it wasn't European. She's entitled to not liking Asian foods, but if you're going to complain about it being ethnic, then you better have that same attitude when the ethnic food is white. And especially don't call another person's culture weird. She didn't complain about the food again. Also, before anyone comments, white bread isn't the only American cuisine out there. Here's a short list of what I've enjoyed making: tater tots, jambalaya, fried chicken, many types of pies, s'mores, and Philly cheesesteaks. America is a very diverse place, and that's reflected in its food. Happy eating! It looks like we have a young Karen in training. Complaining about free food is never okay. Won't let me carry over one day? See you in 2.5 months. I worked for a US network news company and was on staff, so I had a nice benefit of time off days and vacation. Because of the nature of the work, we didn't get bank holidays off. Instead, they gave us floating holidays to use whenever we wanted, with approval, of course. We were only allowed to carry over a max of 5 unused vacation or personal days to the next year, as long as they were used in the first 3 months of the new year. This is the rub. As you can imagine, vacation time use becomes highly in demand around the Christmas holidays. We have to put in for them in September to get the days off. The news is 24/7 and needs staff coverage. I typically didn't use much time throughout the year, so I would take the week or so between Christmas through after the new year. This particular year, I had 7 unused days, and I was already off from December 24th through January 2nd. HR reminded me that I can only carry over 5 of those 7 days. I asked if I can use them on December 22nd and 23rd. No, which I understood. It was too late to find a replacement for me. As I was already off the rest of the year, there wasn't another 2 days to take off before the new year began. So, I asked for a one-time exception to carry over the extra 2 days, and I would extend my little Christmas break 2 days into the next year to show that I would use them ASAP. No. The rules state... Okay, here comes the malicious compliance. I went back to look at the policies, and since the new year didn't have any restrictions on vacation usage, like the December time has, all I had to do was give at least 2 weeks' notice. I added up my 5 carryover days, vacation, and floating holidays, as well as all my OT time that I had built up, and put in a request the next day. All of this time meant I would leave on December 23rd and not return to work until the last week of February. The next day, I handed in my request, and since this person now had to schedule my replacement for the next 2.5 months and they had to pay me, I was on staff. She was not happy. About an hour later, I got a call from the HR supervisor. I got my 2 extra carryover days. I don't know. Part of me says that I would have just still taken the 2.5 months and gotten the 2 carryover days. I mean, they didn't say you couldn't. And that's all the time we have today for these malicious compliance posts. If you liked any of them, make sure to click that like button. And if you're related to them or have something to say, let us know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more stories. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.